Death is not the end, but the beginning of a new cycle. Have you ever looked at a newborn child in your family and felt a strange familiarity in their eyes? A moment when your heart said, there is something so close, as if your grandfather, grandmother, father, mother has returned. In the profound teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, rebirth is a subtle cycle of karma and love, where the soul can return to the very family it once left. The purpose is not meaningless repetition, but to continue the journey of learning, cultivating relationships, and resolving unfinished connections. This is a golden opportunity to complete what is unfinished, especially love. The soul carries an endless stream of love. Yogananda once emphasized, the soul is not attached to the body, but to what it has not completed, especially unfinished love. When a loved one leaves this world with unspoken words, unhealed pain, or unfinished love, the powerful energy of those things will urge the soul to return. Often, this return will take place right into the bloodline or emotional space to which they were attached, like an invisible invitation. Signs of reincarnation, connected from beginningless. Sign 1. The child possesses the physical features of the deceased person. In many records from thousands of years old Zen monasteries and spiritual traditions, the reincarnated soul often carries a special, physical imprint. It can be the eyes, the mouth, a mole, or even the gait, which amazingly recreates the image of the deceased. Typically, in his masterpiece, Autobiography of a Yogi, Yogananda tells of a baby born with a birthmark in the exact place where his grandfather had been injured. This is not a coincidence, but a clear sign of deep karmic connections between lifetimes. Sign 2. The child shows strangely similar habits, preferences, or reactions. Some children surprise us when they show an early ability to play a musical instrument without ever having learned it. Have the same emotional reactions as a deceased relative in certain situations. Have strange habits, such as sitting in the same place where the deceased usually sat, or have a special fondness for a dish that only that person ever cooked. According to Yogananda, memories do not belong only to the brain. They are stored in the energy shells of the soul, called karmic impressions. When reincarnated, these spiritual impressions may emerge as deep emotional fields, rather than as normal logical memories. Sign 3. Young children remember details of their past lives or the dead. Have you ever heard a child suddenly exclaim unbelievable things like, "Mommy, before I was your child, I was your grandfather." Or, "I remember the old house with the wooden chair by the door, where I used to sit and read books." Many cases meticulously recorded in Dr. Ian Stevenson's studies and ancient traditions have shown that young children, especially in the first 5 to 6 years of life, can retain clear fragments of memories from their previous lives. Yogananda taught, the soul only forgets the past when the energy is completely dissolved. But if there is still a connection, a strong love, the memory can follow like a thin smoke, waiting to be awakened. Sign 4. A death full of retrieval or unfulfilled duty. The soul of a father who leaves before taking care of his child, a mother who is still grieving over leaving behind a baby, or a grandfather or grandmother who suddenly passes away with many things left unsaid. Those unfinished energies do not disappear. They exist as an invitation to reincarnation, not to start over, but to finish what is unfinished, to resolve the remaining knots. The soul will go through many life cycles, but always tends to return to the place where it has sown seeds but not yet reaped enough. Yogananda. Sign 5. The family clearly feels the return through the new child. Sometimes, there is no need for any physical evidence or clear memories. Just a moment when the grandmother looks at her grandchild and suddenly bursts into tears, "He looks exactly like your grandfather when he was young." Or the mother dreams of her deceased father telling her, "I will see you again in the next child." The entire family suddenly feels a deep, familiar connection with the child as if they have known each other for many lifetimes. These feelings are not hallucinations. They are powerful spiritual energy fields, where the old soul touches the remaining field of love, still vibrating in the heart of the family. Signs 6 and 7, Prophecy Dreams and the Child's Special Spiritual Energy. Sign 6, Prophecy Dreams. Many families have reported that they have dreamed of deceased relatives returning to their dreams, touching their mother's belly, or saying meaningful words such as, "Mom, this time I come back, I will stay longer." These dreams often carry a clear message, signaling an important event that is about to happen. Sign 7, the child has a mind energy field. Although they have never been exposed to meditation or spiritual practices, there are newborn babies who are especially sensitive to energy, light, chanting, or easily enter a state of calm and peace. Yogananda called this a soul re-entering an unfinished journey, usually a soul that has had a foundation of spiritual practice or development from previous lives, and is now continuing on that path. These signs, while seemingly implausible to conventional logic, are important pieces in the great picture of reincarnation that Paramahansa Yogananda revealed. Before reincarnation, the soul's choice and spiritual agreement. According to ancient teachings from the Upanishads to the Yoga Vasishtha, and especially through the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, rebirth is not a random occurrence. It is the result of a deliberate process of spiritual preparation, sometimes so subtle that it resembles an invisible script written between souls. Yogananda taught, the soul will be guided by karma and emotional magnetism to the right place where it needs to learn its next lesson. So what happens before a soul is reborn? The interlife state, the soul enters the intermediate space between two lives. Here, it reviews the lessons it has learned and compares them with those it has not yet completed, preparing for the next life. The presence of a soul guide. Many spiritual traditions speak of the presence of a spiritual teacher, guru. They help the individual consider his or her reincarnation options, much like choosing the next class that fits your learning journey. Guiding spirit field, souls with whom you have deep karma, unfulfilled love, or unfulfilled promise will emit a special frequency that attracts you. Souls choose their parents not simply out of pure karma, but out of deep love. Sometimes it is to repay karma, sometimes it is to continue to love and nurture, and sometimes it is to help another soul evolve. This connection is a blend of karma and a higher spiritual purpose. When do souls reincarnate? Immediately after death. A common misconception is that a person who dies will immediately reincarnate into another child. But in fact, in the light of Yogananda and traditional yoga, time in the spirit realm is flexible, and reincarnation only occurs when the following factors are ripe. The karma is strong enough to attract the soul back to earth, where there are lessons to be learned. The emotional frequencies and vibrational fields of the future family are compatible, creating a favorable environment for re-entry. There is a suitable opportunity, for example, the parents are receptive, the fetus has enough energy, and there is a karmic affinity between the soul and the family. Therefore, the time of reincarnation can be a few months, a few years, or even a few centuries, if the soul is still in the intermediate state to learn in a different way, to prepare more thoroughly for the next life. Yogananda once emphasized, only when the soul knows for sure that the place it is going to will help it evolve, does it move on. This shows the initiative and clear purpose in the reincarnation journey of each soul. Reincarnation, not just to pay karma, but to perfect love. The popular mind often simplifies reincarnation as paying off karma, but that is only a superficial aspect of a much more complex process. Reincarnation is also an opportunity for the soul to fulfill its deepest promises, to continue to develop the divine qualities it began in its previous life. Imagine A strict father, lost in torment, can be reborn as the son of his former son, to learn gentle love and understanding. A lonely old woman, who loved her son but could not express it, can be reborn as the granddaughter of that son, to learn to express her love fully. Reincarnation is not going back to the past, but a continuation, moving forward, with the baggage of unfinished lessons, the seeds of love that have not yet blossomed of the soul. It is an opportunity to make up for, to develop the noblest qualities of oneself in relationships with those one loves. Family, not a coincidence, but a school of the soul. Yogananda affirmed a profound truth: the world is a school. The family is the first classroom of the soul. In it, each member plays an important role. Parents may have been children in a previous life, carrying with them lessons that need to be completed about responsibility and tolerance. Children may be fellow practitioners from a distant life, continuing a spiritual journey together. A husband/wife may be someone who has hurt you, and now comes back to learn how to love unconditionally, to resolve past conflicts. Where there is tension, there is strong karma that needs to be healed. Conversely, where there is irrational attachment, there is unfinished love in the unconscious soul. As Yogananda once said, no one is a stranger if you see them in your life often enough. The family is a wonderful environment for each soul to learn, grow, and perfect itself through complex and meaningful relationships. Can we support the soul of a loved one on their journey to reincarnation? The answer is yes, and it does not require any grand or complicated rituals. You can support the soul of a loved one with simple but powerful actions. Pray daily with gratitude, don't ask them to come back, but send out a light of love and serenity. This helps them, if they choose to reincarnate, to go with the purest and lightest energy. Meditate and let go of attachments. Your grief and attachments may inadvertently hold that soul back. Your serenity is the greatest gift for them to leave completely, or return properly according to the natural flow of karma. Take care of your family with complete love. Love the remaining family members as if their souls are watching you. Because, maybe, they are really preparing to return in a new form, and the peace and happiness of the family is the string that attracts them back. Do all souls reincarnate? When does a soul not return to the earth? In many spiritual traditions, the concept of afterlife is often taken for granted. However, according to Paramahansa Yogananda, not all souls are reborn immediately, or even reborn back to this physical plane. Yogananda taught that, a soul is reborn because of something unlearned, something unforgiven, something unlet go of. This implies that rebirth is an opportunity for the soul to perfect itself. But if a soul has reached a state of completed all major and minor karmic debts, has resolved all karmic ties from previous lives, let go of all attachments to the physical world, is no longer held back by material desires, fame, or worldly emotions, attained union with God, enlightenment has been achieved through deep meditation and selfless love. Then the soul can remain in higher spiritual realms, such as the astral or causal realms, or actively not return to the physical world, unless there is a sacred vow to help others, typically the great Guru Mahavatar Babaji or the Bodhisattvas. Therefore, when a loved one passes away with a liberated state of mind, full of peace and serenity, it is very likely that this is the last time they go to school on this planet Earth. This is a great liberation, not a permanent separation but a sublimation. Should we expect our loved ones to come back? Or do they deserve to be free? This is one of the most profound and subtle aspects of love and reincarnation. Many people, after losing a loved one, often beg them to come back as a child, a grandchild, a member of the family again, because of their longing and attachment. However, Yogananda taught that true love is love without attachment. If you truly love that soul, let them be free to return to the divine light, or come back if that is truly the path they choose for their own evolution. Reincarnation is the spiritual freedom of each soul, not to be held back by our earthly attachment or selfish desires. If you truly wish to be connected to your deceased loved one, the best way is, live a bright life, nurture your inner self so that your spirituality can develop to the same level as theirs. At some point, without having to return to your physical body, your souls will still meet and connect, in purer and higher dimensions. This is a connection that transcends all physical limitations. Conclusion: the eternal thread of love. Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings on the 7 signs of soul reincarnation are profound reminders of the immortality of love and consciousness. Each departure is not an end, but a transition. And each new appearance is an opportunity to reconnect the bonds of love, complete the lessons, and continue the soul's evolutionary journey. While we may never fully understand the mysteries of the universe, one thing is clear: true love is the most powerful energy, connecting us across space, time, and lifetimes. Live each moment fully, love with all your heart, and trust in the great journey of the soul. Because in this universe, no separation is permanent for hearts that have loved deeply. Namaste.